The biggest headline in papers across the world is a deadly plane crash in France. A Spanish newspaper calls it a flight without a destination. A German headline reads, "The grief cannot be measured." And another says this in French, "Nothing but debris and bodies."
Investigators are going through the scattered remains of the Germanwings jet in the French Alps. They found the cockpit voice recorder. They say it is badly damaged. The Airbus 320 model that crashed is one of the world's most popular airliners. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg is with us. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
So many questions to get to. First of all, what's the biggest mystery in your mind this morning? Some of the top questions.
Well, some of the top questions, of course, why no distress signal? Investigators are going to look at that, but they don't think it's that important. Pilots are trained to control the plane first and then try to communicate. They may not have had time or the ability to communicate.
Okay, one of the other key questions is 8-minute descent.
Yes.
And normally you hear a lot of experts saying that if the plane had been in distress, it would have gone out of its route, but it was en route.
It was a controlled descent, but what we don't know is who was in control. Were the pilots in control, or was the plane actually in control with its own computers? You see, what they're looking at now is when the plane got up to 38,000 feet, it was only up there for a minute. They're looking now at the flight data recorder. Once they find that, it's going to tell them everything they need to know about icing, about temperature, wind, speed, engine performance, and were there speed sensors, and were there angle of attack sensors. What that means is that the actual pitch of the plane frozen. And did that give a false reading to the computer to think that the plane was about to stall? If that happened, the computer would take the plane and put it right down there, and now the pilots are actually fighting the computer. And that's what causes that controlled descent. That's one of the things they're going to look at.
And that's what worries me so much, this 8-minute descent. I keep thinking about these passengers and what the terror that they might have been going through.
But you know what? There may not have been any terror because
Why?
It's a controlled descent at about 3,400 feet a minute, which is not catastrophic. The problem is...
But you can feel you're going down, though, Peter.
Yes, but they would have no reason to know why at that point. The bottom line here is the speed stayed the same. The speed stayed at about 400 knots. But once you get below about 3,000 feet, 400 knots is lethal. And that's exactly why you see that debris field. That plane hit at 400 knots.
Does it surprise you in 8 minutes there was no Mayday call, that no one could have just said, Mayday, help? No. 8 minutes seems like a long time.
It does, but most people who ask that question are going back to the old John Wayne movies in the 40s about, oh my God, I have time to say goodbye to my wife. And, no, it doesn't work that way at all. Very infrequently do you hear a Mayday call.
Peter, the cockpit voice recorder has been recovered, so what will investigators be looking for?
It's the flight data recorder right now, because it gives you at least 15 different parameters on everything happening there. They're going to also look at engine performance. Were the engines surging? Were they actually spinning consistently or intermittently? Did they even have control of their own power?
So the voice recordings that the pilots made, that might not tell the story.
Oh, it's more than voice recordings. It's every sound in the cockpit. Any audio warnings of a stall shaker or anything that's saying that you have an alarm in the plane, you would hear that as well, and you'd hear it in a real time. So once they get both recorders, they will actually do a real-time analysis, second by second, to match up what they hear in the cockpit to what the plane was or wasn't doing based on the flight data recorder.
Peter Greenberg, thanks so much.
You got it.